Thursday night football, the undefeated Miami Dolphins travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Today, I got my favorite player prop, spread pick, same game parlay, and a first touchdown scorer for this contest. It's worth noting, we've had 2 straight same game parlays. Let's make it 3 today. Now, if you're new to the Call on Our Shot channel, my name is Austin. I appreciate you for coming out to this video. We're going to keep diving into all these videos the rest of the year long, so definitely hit that subscribe button down below as we inch closer and closer to 40,000 subscribers. We've had a great start to the year, especially for our spreads and over-unders, our game picks, hitting at a 74% clip so far. Let's keep that going. If you want to know my 3 favorite spread picks for week 4 in the NFL for all of Sunday's games, go check out the video posted right before this one. I'll also have it linked at the end. Go check that out. Last week, that video swept, so definitely go take advantage. Go watch that video after this one. I have one final note. I'm not going to promote any sports books or Underdog or PrizePicks. I want to ask you guys for something. I want you guys to say a prayer for me for real quick. Not only for me, for anyone else in the path of current Hurricane Ian. No idea what's going to go happen with that hurricane. There's been so many different trajectories, but a lot of people might not know. I am in St. Petersburg, Florida, so while you're watching this, the hurricane supposedly is coming over. We have no idea, so we're going to be hunkered down in St. Pete. Hopefully everything's good, but I know a lot of people could deal with different things, so say a prayer to all those people. Hopefully everyone is safe after the end of this. But it's hard to kind of transition into some football, but it's Thursday night football. We're going to give you a winner, and my favorite player prop for this contest, Jamar Chase. We're taking his over, 71.5 receiving yards, minus 115 on DraftKings. Now, Chase is under in 2 straight games with 54 yards in week 2 versus the Cowboys, then 29 yards versus my New York Jets in week 3. Now, he returns back home where he had 129 yards in week 1 versus the Steelers. And Chase has actually played a little bit better at home than he has on the road. Not too crazy to say, but in his career, hit the over in 6 straight home games, 9 of 12 career home games. So pretty good at home. Hopefully he bounces back into what we've been seeing out of him for the large majority of his year plus in the NFL. Now, you look at him, I think he gets back on track in week 4 versus Miami. Miami, they have good cornerbacks on paper, but a lot of these guys are banged up. I don't even know who's going to be healthy for this one. Xavier Howard could miss the game. Both their safeties are banged up. Byron Jones, obviously their elite corner from last year, he's also out. He's been out, I believe, the whole season so far. So I think you can see some advantage here for Chase, and you can't double team Chase. It's not what you're going to do because they got T. Higgins on the other side, and you don't want to leave him on one-on-one coverage. You look at last week, Stephon Diggs, Isaiah McKenzie, both hit this over. The week before that, Bateman and Mark Andrews both got it done, and the week before that, in week 1, was the Patriots, who didn't really have a good game at all by any stretch of the imagination. Chase is seeing a ton of targets, 9+ targets in all 3 games so far this year. And I think they're going to find a way to get him back on track in week 4 in this Thursday night showdown. Like I said, T. Higgins is going to take his own coverage away from Jamar Chase, and I just think he bounces back on Thursday night football. And ultimately, I feel like the Bengals find a way to get him the ball, get one of their best players the ball in his hands, and let him do some magic with it. I mean, the sportsbooks are pretty confident the Bengals are going to do just that. They're setting his receptions line at 5.5, basically even odds on both sides of it. Chase has hit this over in 12 of 18 career games with 4+ receptions. Look, if he's at 6, I think he has an even better chance. Ask for 72 yards. I think he's fully capable of doing it. He can do it in one play for all I care. Or like Jamar Chase is my favorite player prop of this contest, over 71.5 receiving yards. Now, as for my spread pick, see you go in a couple different ways with this one, but I'm going to be around with the Bengals, minus 3.5. It's minus 115 on BetMGM. Now, this is under assumption that Tua Tagovailoa does play. It does look like he's projected to play, so I expect him out there. If Teddy Bridgewater is out there, I imagine the spread goes up a little bit, and I maybe avoid it if it goes up, a couple of points, but I don't think he's going to be out there. I think Tua will be at the helm. Now, we picked the Bengals last week. They treated us nicely. They played the Jets. They got that covered easily. And you look at the Dolphins, an undefeated team, obviously coming off a win against the Bills, who people crowned to basically be the Super Bowl champs before they are already even there. And they came off a win, and now they're undefeated, now laying points on the road. I don't know. I mean, you look at this line, you're like, they're begging you to take the Dolphins. So I got to go with the Bengals. I think the Bengals cruised to victory last week easily against the Jets. They didn't even really play Joe Mixon, run him into the ground a whole lot. So Joe Mixon should be ready to go in this Thursday night showdown. And the Dolphins on the other side just went toe-to-toe in an emotional divisional win against the Bills. I mean, this is a team that had that game circled on their calendar for weeks before, it came. And so I think just an emotional letdown could be on the way in this Thursday night game. Obviously, they haven't had a ton of time to rest and get prepared for it. Practice is always short, and like I already said, Hurricane Ian is coming through. So whether it necessarily impacted their practice schedule, I don't know, but it could impact the family, friends. That could take their mind off the game, worrying about different things. I'm just saying every little thing could matter, and I do think the Bengals come out here and win this one. Asking them to win by 4 points, I think they get that done as well. You look at the Dolphins, they've lost 7 of their last 8 road Thursday night games, and while I wouldn't really dive into that, I'd be like, oh, Bengals, put the house on it, but it is worth noting, they have struggled on the road, and I do think that we'll see this Bengals team, which is desperate. They don't want to go to 1-3. So I think they're going to come out play with a little bit more desperation. Then we'll see a Dolphins team, which is sitting at 3-0. So, and that's really just trying to get back home to maybe to see their family and friends. But either way, I really like the Bengals in this one. I could see people going either way. Let me know who you guys like down below in the comments. But I like the Bengals to take down one of the only 2 remaining unbeaten teams and cover the 3.5 spread. I really like the Bengals tonight. Give me the -3.5. Now let's move on to same game parlay time. Look at last Thursday. We hit a +472. Then Monday Night Football hit a +600. This one is not going too crazy out of the realm of possibility, but let's dive into it. Now we're on FanDuel taking advantage of their no sweat same game parlay for Thursday Night Football, which means we have to do 3 legs and we have to at least have +400 odds. And if it loses, we at least get a refund in free bets if you want to sign up for FanDuel and get not only that offer, but also get a $1,000 risk-free bet. Make sure you check that dimers.com/COS link in the description. Now, this is what I'm rolling with. Jamar Chase, anytime touchdown. Joe Mixon, anytime touchdown. And then alt under 60.5 points. Barely over that +400, just +408 odds. Now, let's talk about this because we obviously, we've really had a lot of success in those 2 same game parlays. We've been 2 touchdown scores and then alt under. Those have been the 3 legs and we've been cashing them out. I'd like Jamar to get in the end zone. You already heard me talk about his receiving yards prop. And when Burrow, who's passing touchdowns at 1.5, is juiced like -170. When he gets down there, normally looking for Jamar Chase or T. Higgins. He has a great connection with Jamar Chase. When he's ad-libbing off plays, normally looking for Chase, and I think Chase can get in the end zone. There's a reason he's the second most highest, odds guy to get a touchdown on this one. So I think Chase has a good night. Now, as for Joe Mixon, you're looking at a guy who's got a juiced touchdown. His touchdown is like -150. And he hasn't scored a touchdown this season. And I think he's due for one in this matchup. We've seen that, Devin Singletary got into the end zone last week for the Bills. And I think that we'll see Joe Mixon do the same again here. Obviously, he didn't get a big workload on Sunday in week 3. I think he comes back here. They try to establish the run, and when they get it at the 1, 2, 3 yard line, they're going to give it to Joe Mixon. Hopefully, he can pound it in. And with not a lot of preparation, not a lot of rest, D-lines could be a little bit fatigued, and we should see Joe Mixon hopefully pummel his way into the end zone, cash that leg of the parlay, and then we would just take in the alt. You saw under 60.5 points. Look, if there's 61 points in this game, well, that was the price we paid for entertainment because it's probably an entertaining game, but I don't think they're going to score that many points. Over-under sitting at like 47.5, if I were to guess. I don't remember the exact line, but I don't really want to add. Normally, we've been taking 1 player from each team into these same game parlays. I don't really want to put a Dolphin in there. I don't want to trust Chase Edmonds, who had 2 touchdowns last week. That was fluky. And then Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, decent. But like I said, Tua Tagovailoa, who knows what his status is for this game. I don't really want to be betting on Teddy Bridgewater. So as I'm recording this early, I do like Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase both to get a touchdown. I'm going to be all in on the Bengals, so I might as well make the same game parlay all in on them. But I'm not putting Bengals money line in there. I don't like having a game outcome in there unless it's an over or under. But that's going to do it for that. Let's get into a first touchdown score, though. We hit a couple of these throughout the season. Let's hit this one. Joe Mixon, I'm taking him to score the first touchdown. It's +600, I believe, on DraftKings. Now, like I already talked about, no touchdowns for Mr. Joe Mixon through 3 weeks. And last year he had 16. So some guys do for some touchdowns, and I think they're going to make a point to get him the ball, especially near the goal line. Get him going, because this team rides kind of with Joe Mixon. This offense needs an established run. I mean, if Joe Mixon averaged 2 yards per carry, it's going to be tough for, Joe Burrow to sit back there for the defense to respect the run, and they're just going to be throwing the guys all at Joe Mixon or at Joe Burrow throwing in the pocket. So I think Joe Mixon getting his first touchdown, get him going, get him down the first drive, whatever it may be, get him into the end zone. I think that's what you'll see the Bengals try to do. And like I said, 16 touchdowns last year, none so far through 3 weeks. I think he gets into the end zone. So I like Joe Mixon not only to score a touchdown, give me the first touchdown score at +600 odds, like 6-1. I got to take it. So that's going to wrap it up. Jamar Chase is over. You're taking the Bengals on the spread, taking that same game parlay, taking the Joe Mixon first touchdown score. Like I said, my 3 favorite spread picks, week 4. Check out that video. It's popping up on the screen. Go watch that one. I would certainly appreciate it. I thank you for all the love as we inch closer to 40,000 subscribers. I appreciate all of you. Stay safe to all my fellow people in the path of Hurricane Ian. Hopefully it's not as bad as they might think it will be. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out.